Hi there, welcome to Dave in the Shed. I'm Dave and this is my little corner of the world, also known as the Shed Mahal. Now if you're into DIY, 3D printing and model trains, you've come to the right place. Now fair warning, I do things a little bit differently. I have cerebral palsy, which means sometimes things get a little bit creative around here, but hey, it just makes it more fun. So if you like making, fixing, and maybe even breaking things along the way, stick around. Hit that subscribe button and let's build something awesome together.
Down in the shed where the magic begins, Dave's got his tools, let the fun commence. 3D printing dreams, watch him come alive. With every little gadget, man, he starts to thrive. Blueprints in hand, technology so keen, building up the future like a crafty machine. Model trains rolling on a whimsical track. In this shed of wonder, there's no time to slack. Oh, Dave in the shed where the vibes stay high. Creating with passion, he's reaching for the sky. DIY master in a vibrant samba flow. Hope you enjoyed the video, let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go.
Well, welcome folks. This is one of those videos where you actually see this in the video, you might not, but I don't know how we can see this up on the video. I always say that, don't know. Last Easter, well, last Wednesday before Easter, somebody's clocked me with a shopping trolley in the local We Do It More Fresher car park. You know that one, the one that had the greeny colouring in. Somebody's given me a scrape. It's got a couple of bad bits and pieces in here. There's actually taken the paint off. I have given a bit of a clean up. Looked worse than what I did at first, but it's not too bad. I have a bit of a clean. But it's a lot of times you can cut and polish these out, but this one's going to need a hit with the old touch-up spray. I've got to do a bit of more clean up first, but yeah. But what I thought I might do a bit of a redneck panel beating job. That while I'm here, I've got this dent that I put in some time ago. It's not the first time I've done a bit of panel beating on this fender, but I'm going to have to pull this dent out again. But I've been watching YouTube videos about the people who use hot glue. You know, we get these kits, I don't know how if they're a con or job, but they get these thing and they hot glue it on and they use a bit of a slide hammer and pull the dent out. I'm going to try and do that, lazy fella. I'm going to try and do that. So I'm not going to spend the money on buying the kit off the internet like they want to do. I've got a hot glue gun. I'm going to make up my own little thing. I think I can design a piece up. It's only a bit of plastic that I've got 3D printers. Hot glue it on and see if I can pull this dent out. Take you along for a bit of a journey. This may all work. This may not. Now, I'm just doing this lazy because what I should really do is take this tyre off, pull the lining out and push it out that way, which I could do. But I'm going to try some of this stuff I've seen on the internet and see how we go. Just for shits and giggles. Got nothing else better to do. It's a public holiday, Easter Monday, and I thought, look, I might try this. We might do this. I did actually go up on Saturday, the auto part supplier, which is just down the end of my street, had a 20 off. Their name roughly is very fast and cheap, or very strong and cheap is probably the way to put it. And they had a 20% off sale, so I bought some touch-up spray and a bit of spray putty, try and do a half decent job on this one. I'll show you some previous patch up. I've had a few big stone chips on the old Lux over the years. This is a previous Dave repair here. I've had to pull that panel out and straighten it up, and there's a bit of a ding over here from something. It's a bit of a scratch. We might have to do some of these. And look, these chip patch jumps here. Don't know how well you can see them. They've been like, look, stops the thing from rusting out. So yeah, over the years we've had a bit of panel damage there on the side, a bit of rash. But anyway, we might do some redneck repairs. Yep, that's just muck. Because you get chips like this, you've got to be careful of chips like that. I don't know how well you can see. got to get a bit of a touch up on it so they don't rust. That's the important things. But anyway, see, look at that. Anyway, we might have to touch that up while we're doing the touch-ups. We might have a look at that one. Yep. We're going to have a look at this. I'm going to print up some bits on the 3D printer, and then we're going to assemble it, and we're going to see how we go. See if we can pull this dent out with hot glue and stuff I've got in the shed. It could work out. It could be a big write-off, and you won't see any of it. But anyway, now if you want to know what I'm on about, just go to YouTube or Google. Look for hot glue dent removal, and there's all sorts of stuff on there. But anyway, this is my plan. We're going to redneck it. What I've done is printed up this little thing. I rough guesstimated on size. It's probably a bit smaller than what I saw in the video. But anyway, here's my plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue this bolt onto here. Sorry, this nut. I'm going to super glue that onto there. And then that gets hot glued like that on the vehicle. I'll show you later. And then they then attach this little attachment they hot glue on to a slide hammer. I don't have a slide hammer here, but I'm going to redneck it. So what I've got is I have got some all thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue this together. I then hot glue that on the car, on the panel of the ute. I'm going to use my all thread, and I'm going to make up my own little slide hammer type thing. It might work, it might not. The only one way to find out. Let's redneck it. So anyway, yeah, so my next job, super glue this on. And this is an experiment. I might have to make the little plastic bit a bit bigger, but I don't know. We're going to try. Yeah, we're not super gluing this to the car. No. Now you hot glue that to the car, and then we'll try and pull the dent out. So that's the next thing. Do that. Well, that's me nut super glued onto that. So that's ready to go. Better go and have some lunch and let that dry. Probably got to give it a good hour, half hour anyway, for the super glue to set up. Over here I've got my Rednet Wacker 2000 made up. So it is just a piece of all thread. A piece of gal pipe I've just cut to roughly the length, and some nuts and bolts. That's going to be my slide hammer. It's going to be my finger remover. That's going to be me, I suppose, dent whacker. But anyway, needs must. Don't actually have a slide hammer here. I've always rednecked them when we've needed them, and it's worked before, so this might work again. You never know. This, yeah, it might work, it might not, but there's only one way to find out, and that is to go and have some tucker and come back and see what the whack job, typically what this whack job does. Back soon. Well, this is either going to work or it's not. I've used a liberal amount of hot glue, stuck that on there, and I've got my Wacker 2000 that I'm going to screw into there, and attempt to see if I can pull this out. Now, I'm not going to be able to do this and video it, but there you go. Let's thread that in. Don't think this is going to work, but yeah. But interesting, the bit with failed is my glue job. Wonder if we should try just hot gluing the bolt straight onto the car. We might do that next. Let's try that. Didn't work, but it didn't fail in the way I expected it to. Interesting. Now, strangely, the bit that failed was not hot glue. It was the super glue, where I super glued the nut onto the plastic bit. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to have to remove hot glue anyway, so there's no use worry about putting more on there. So what I've done on the top one is I've hot glued the nut straight onto the plastic bit, and on the bottom one I've hot glued a nut straight onto the side of the truck. So there is something in this. The hot glue was the bit I expected to fail. But anyway, I've just glued this up here, and I'll once again give it some time to go off. set the hot glue up to cool off and set up properly, and we'll have another whack at this. This may actually work, strangely. Oh well, makes good video content. That failure was interesting, but showed that me slide hammery thing and me the nut being hot glued worked. It was super glue that failed. Strange. Well, let's have another crack at this. This may be one of those moments of sheer genius or sheer frustration while I'm cleaning hot glue with the air blower off the side of the truck. So I'm going to try the one I've just hot glued on first. Oh, look at this, folks. It's not pulling the dent out that much, but it's not pulling off the car. Oh, one nut off. Just pulled me nut off. Okay. This is one of those suggestions, not as silly as it sounds. I've actually got some other stuff I've seen online we might try next. Hang on, I'll just put this nut down. So that was the nut that was hot glued onto the plastic that was on the thing. Here we go at this one. Now, I might have got hot glue down the thread, but let's see. No, that's just going to pull off, isn't it? That's just going to pull off. Yeah. There is some sound theory in this. What I've got to do is make a better pluggy thing, don't I? Find a way to glue that onto that bit of it. I'll tell you what. I'm going to have to get out the gun and pull all that off, but it's all like half worked. Interesting. This is the one. I might have to find a way to attach that. Might try some different. Hang on. We're heading in the right direction. Hang on. I'm going to go print more of these and do stuff. And anyway, look, that sort of worked. Sort of worked. This one here survived longer than the other one. Okay. Interesting experiment. Well, I'm going to give this away for today. But I think we might be onto something, we might not. What I've done is I've reprinted some more of those doobie thingies. I've tried some different super glues. Not the same one I used last time, and I'm going to let these set up overnight, probably till midday tomorrow. I've got stuff on tomorrow morning. I'm on Driver Reviver Tuesday morning. I might take some video of that if I remember. So I'll let these set up. So it'll be a good 24 hours drying on the super glues. So they'll be good to allow them to set up and dry up, and I'll have a whack, literally have a whack, we whack it tomorrow and see how we go, because I think semi-worked. The whacker sort of worked a little bit. It may work. I've seen another tool online, another bloke built, that I might copy and pinch as well, so I'm working on that. We might discuss that next. All right, get out of your way for now. Well, as they say, another day older, another day wiser. Although they don't say about me. This is the 24 hours later from my last attempt. I printed up a new puck, or whatever you call it, the attachment point. I then used different super glue. I let the super glue sit for 24 hours. Oh, look out, here's trouble. Just the Jasper cat. So we're going to try and pull this dent out. I'm trying to do it this way because it's a lazy way. If this doesn't work, not tomorrow but the day after, I will have to do the ultimate sin, and that is jack truck up, remove tyre, remove wheel liner, which is a lot of stuffing around, do some traditional panel beating underneath, push it out. Now the panel is now a bit more dirty than when I started because I've got muck from the glue on it. Good old alcohol will clean it up. Anyway, let's see what happens. I'll try and do this single-handed. So my wacky sticky, I'm going to sort of like screw this into this bolt. Like that. I've got this wacky-do stick, sort of like, got this wacky-do stick that I've created, and I'm going to try and pull this dent out. failed. I really was giving that a good whack to try and pull that out. So once again, that has failed. Same reason, we've just broken the thing off. I've got one more of those things to try, but I'm not sure. I might try that the next day, but it might be down to traditional panel beating. I did try. There is one more method I'm going to try, not today, that'll be tomorrow. The guy made a tool that he went up inside one of the openings and pushed the thing out on the interwebs. And we might try that. It's not that I'm surprised. I thought the fail point would be the hot glue. It's not the hot glue that's failing, it's my way of attaching. I've got another design I might try. So look, this is going to be a saga. I've got another design I might try. We'll see if that works. Leave it with me. This could be interesting. Well, this is being filmed a day later. This is now a day later, and a visit to the doctor and all sorts of bits and pieces later, and I still haven't pulled this dent out. We're going to try again. Before anybody says, why can't you just, come on Dave, jack the car up, take the tyre off, do your panel beating? Well, A, this is fun messing around, and B, I'm not really able to at the moment. I know this sounds strange. Unfortunately, visit to the doctor yesterday was a good news, bad news story. I was being treated for old farts problem, diverticulitis. Now, I may have had a mild case of that, but that is not what is causing the extreme pain. I have, and it's quite bizarre, well, I've got cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a disconnect between the brain and the muscles, so the muscles really don't do properly and the brain doesn't do properly, and you have a few issues as a result of that. In my case, I have quite a few issues as a result of that. I'm trying to think of the word. I have depression, not as in mental depression, but I have a physical depression of the muscles in the left hip. Often you get old, you have hip issues. Often they whip out the hip, put a new hip in. Unfortunately, it's not the hip that's the problem. The pain is a problem, but the pain is caused by the muscles in the hip playing horribly, not doing the right thing, telling things. So my brain's misinterpreting some of the signals, and some of the signals are being interpreted as severe pain when it's not. Anyway, on some more medication, change the medication again. Of course, every time you change these medications, you get crook as a dog. So I'm a little bit crook as a dog. Got to take it easy for a couple of days. Once again, new medications, back to the doctors in 3 weeks, see what happens. When you're on new medications, don't go and read although it's good advice, I say don't go and read the side effects list. Whoa, tell you what, some interesting side effects. Anyway, also today, slow down, I've got a bit of a tidy up. Hurricane John came for a visit. I have a tree everywhere in the carport and around the place. I might put some photos in. Can't complain. John is my wonderful neighbour over there who is 90, would you believe. He got introduced to my little 18 volt 20 centimetre chainsaw this morning, and there was a tree he wanted to trim, and John's gone apeshit, pardon my French. Tell you what, if I'm as spry as that when I'm 90, whew. Yeah, anyway, I do now have to sort of like trim this up and take a run to the trip, but there is sort of like trim leaves everywhere, thanks to John. It's a job that I've been umming and ahhing about how to approach it, but it's done. It's done. Cut down one tree, trimmed up another. Fantastic. Anyway, that's back to the story. So what I'm going to do is, the failure point in my previous little things was the glue joint. So the logic says do away with that glue joint, doesn't it? So what I've done is I've 3D printed a thing, and this works. I've got the nut that goes on the end of my rod and straight in. I've made a couple of these which we're going to put on. So we're going to go back to the hot glue this on, and the nut threads in there. Well, the rod threads in there, and try and give this a whack to pull it out, and there is no glue joint. Can we see that? So that's the latest thing I'm going to try. So we're going to give this a hit. Now I've made a couple in case we have a failure. The one that's on the end of the rod's a bit more stronger. But anyway, that's my 3D design. So there is my cap. Now it is now a captive nut in there. No super glue. We know so far from testing that the hot glue works amazingly. So this is my design, and we're about to give it a bash and find out if this works. If not, I'm going to have to wait for a couple of days, or probably middle of next week, and the tyre's coming off. But anyway, let's try this. So I've stuck those on there, my little pucks. Hope I've given it enough time to go off. I'm going to screw my threaded rod in this bottom one. And this could all be a failure. And I'm going to try now. I'll tell you what, it's taken some abuse. It's not pulling the dent out, but it's certainly... Oh, I think we've had a little bit of movement. Hey, that actually has, to some degree, worked. Let's have a go on this top one. Look, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'll be stuffed. The glue, I think, is about to fail. But that has dramatically reduced that crease. Well, to my eye it has. What I need to do is actually put one over here now. Might be don't know how before or after, but I think I need to come over here and pull the dent out now. That is actually done better than I have actually expected. So what I've got to do now is hair dry that bit off and come over this side of the crease here and try and pull some out here. But what I need to do is I heat this up with a hairdryer, because the glue then melts and then I move it. But I might try this puck over here and move these pucks over and have a go. That is interesting. A lot of hard work. Whew. But I can do it standing up and not bending over, which makes it a lot easier, because it's the getting up and getting down that's a bit of a pain at the moment. So I'm going to yell over the noise of the hairdryer, because of course it's hot glue to move these. Of course, got to heat up the glue and melt it and move it, which I'm going to do. I'm working with gloves, because hot glue, I can tell you from experience, get it on yourself, it will burn you quite severely. So you've got to be careful when working with hot glue. Wear gloves, you don't want it on your fingers. Wear something like gardening gloves, or something that's got a bit of heat resistant to it, not just normal surgical type gloves, because yeah, they won't protect you one little bit. But anyway, going to heat up, move these pucks and see what happens next. What are you doing up there, dude? You checking out the work? Checking out the handiwork? Is that a good spot? Well, I've done a bit of a clean up with the old IPA and doing up that. That is, don't know how much you can tell on that, but that dent is far better pulled out than what it was. The old hot glue and slide hammer worked better than expected. I'm contemplating now, oh, here comes the assistant, whether I want to get underneath the panel and push out what's remaining of the crease. But that's much happier with that. Where the actual bang was down here, I am going to have to do a bit of a touch up with the spray putty, give her a sand down and do some coat to stop the rustling. But I've got to patch up this little error in the door from the nice shopping trolley. But That's a far improvement. I'm actually stunned and amazed. I thought this was going to be one of those videos where you make a video and go, oh, this is all crap. But there you go. In theory, you can pull out dents in your vehicle panels with hot glue and a slide hammer. You saw that on Aussie, Dave. You saw me with the trials and tribulations. There you go. Yeah. A little bit flabbergasted, a little bit amazed. Done well. Now this is a panel I have panel beaded out before, so it's probably got a few panel stress. Now, yeah, I wanted to say more, but I'm not going to say that. We'll leave it at that. But yes, you can pull dents out with hot glue and a slide hammer. You can. That's sun's no help there, but there you go. There is still the panel crease. Once again, if you wanted to spend time with a dolly and a hammer, you could knock that out, but I'm not sure. I might have a go next week, but at that stage I'm 100% pleased with that improvement. Just by using hot glue and that slide hammery thing I built. Well, if you're doing, it might be worth spending the money and buying a proper panel kit that uses that system if you want to do, but that's up to you, that's your call. I'm happy with that. Having a quick look at this crease, this dent. Cold light of day when the light's a bit more even because it's overcast and rainy. I didn't take any before photos, but this is an after. It is a vast improvement from what was already there, which is interesting. I'm very impressed with that, just using a hot glue and a piece of all thread. Well, welcome to Friday. Been an interesting week. Last week, if you watched last week's video, if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it because it was an interesting video. I did something different. I just edited up some train running, like cab view and train running videos. And I'm going to show you how I did it. From Temu, I bought a very cheap, this one cost me about $30. And though you can get them for between 20 and 30. If you want the exact model of the one I bought, let me know. In the comments, I'll get in touch. I bought a very cheap camera. It's designed to be a rip-off. Well, it is a rip-off of the vlogging camera. It looks a bit like the Pocket 3, which is the one I use and all that. But this is a very, very cheap and nasty copy. Only records in 2K. But I just whacked it on a flatbed on my little trailer here, little carriage. Oh, God. The language is not good today until I'm not having a great day. Whacked it on a little flatbed, pushed it round with a logo using the DVC and took some video. The fact, the dearest part of the process was that it requires a micro SD card. The cost of the micro SD card was dearer than the camera. That's completely different. So for about $30. Now, I haven't played with it. Apparently you can hook this camera up on Wi-Fi and use it like a Wi-Fi camera, and you can do stuff like that. So if you've got a big screen in your, I think we might try that later as an exercise. Get the Wi-Fi connected up and see if we can stream video to the telly. See how we go, to the computer stuff. But anyway, that is what I did. So now, it looks like it's got a gimbal on the front, but you just got to twist it and move it to where you want to go. It is an inert type camera. I just line it up and then got roughly pointing direction. There is a screen which gives you a rough video image on the unit so you can see what you're filming, and then you push the record button and I then play trains. I was going to show you the box, but have a look at this. I pulled out the box, the thing. They've stuck a sticker, a delivery sticker, right over the front of the box. So I couldn't remove that and show you what it looks like. But that is the box it came with. If you're clever, Dave, you might put the details in there. Well, Editor Dave will drop the details in of the Temu, off Temu, Chinese supermarket of the unit he bought, and you can see the description, and that's the unit. But anyway, it was still like looking at that, going and check the dimensions. I thought that'll fit on a flat car. So instead of stuffing around like some people have done and fitted up cameras in locos and headlights, I thought I'd do that. Now this is tiny enough, I could probably put it on the footplate on the logos, but anyway, Runs off batteries, you charge it up over USB, like I said, micro USB, and away you go. Well, I don't know if it's on board, if it's got enough. It's actually, technically the camera is what they use in, oh look, language is failing me, I haven't had enough copy of this one. In car cameras, in dash cam. So it's a sensor out of a dash cam, put in a fancy thing. You can even put the time and date on it like the dash cam if you want to. I didn't. And yeah, and had it recording and pushed it round using a loco. So that's roughly what I did. I am going to film some more of the layout soonish. So we'll do a trip up the hill and round the factories and bits and pieces. Yeah, so that could be fun. Now, in between of doing stuff, I have done a bit of relocating a rolling stock. We'll go for a wander. Just put the steam locos in the depot. Still got some more bits to piece and do. So yeah, anyway, that's completely. We're going to have a quick tour of the workbench, and that'll sort of like wrap up this week. But if you'd like any more details, and I will add it in the video, the camera, which one I used, where it came from, and the price, so you can see the more details about that. So that was how I shot the Easter footage. Go and look at the video if you haven't seen it, of running around the layout. And that is as simple as I did. Yep. And if you want details, like I said, if you want details about more in-depth details of that all, let me know. Now I've got some work to do today. I have 3 chainsaws sitting on the workbench because I want to sharpen them all up. We were using them yesterday. My 90-year-old next door neighbour, Cyclone John, I'm going to call him. Once you get that bloke started, there's no stopping him, and I was just following behind, cleaning up. He was pruning a tree up on a ladder, 90-year-old, and I went out to see if he could give him a hand because he's up with a bow saw, whipping up a tree, and he said, no, he was fine, and then I said, would you like to borrow this little chainsaw I've got? And I went and took down my little tiny chainsaw and gave him a quick demo, and man, he was off like a cyclone across the Northern Territory. He was pruning madly. In fact, I got a yard full of trees because he cut down all the stuff he wanted to do, and then he trimmed up some of my trees up the ladder, no less, mind you. Man, anyway, bit annoyed about. I like to leave, so I'll sharpen these saws up and put them away so they're ready to go. And I mistakenly, what I did with this one here. This is my old one, you saw the rebuilds. I left it full of bar oil because I'm a bit paranoid that if they're not full of bar oil, somebody might just grab the thing and use it and then kill it because it's got no bar oil in it. So I left it full of bar oil and it all leaked out. So lucky it was in that box. So that's something to keep an eye of, all these, yeah. So now I'm going to sharpen them up before I put them away. We're good. Another thing I acquired is nostalgia-based Kero heater. Do you remember the old days when you had Kero heating? We're going to try that out almost today. I'll fill up with Kero and get the wick wet because you've got to sort of like fill up with Kero and leave it for a bit so the wick absorbs the oil. I'm going to play with that later, probably even today. It's cool enough now. It's not designed for indoor use. We'll probably put it out there in the entrance to that, but I just wanted that smell, you know, that nostalgic smell. Do you remember as a kid? I'm old enough that Kero heating was quite a thing, and that smell of the, oh, look, I love the smell of Jet A1. So I love working around the firefighting aircraft because that smell of jet fuel, oh, perfume. So there you go. I'll play with that later, just a bit of nostalgic, just for that. But going to show you something. Going to show you a, what's the word? Going to show you rocking horse shit. If you want details where I've got the Kero heater on, I'll do a bit of follow-up later. I'm going to show you some rocking horse shit. People, Aussie thing, as rare as rocking horse shit. Now, this is not an April Fool's joke. This is a legitimate thing, okay? Come over here on the workbench. Oh, I've got a loco all pulled apart here, an old Hornby one, because the bloke was searching for spare parts and on one of the local trading groups, and I've got the parts and bits and pieces, and got a DCC controller that it's an old spare one cleaning up to go to another bloke. If you're watching, John, let Gary know if you're interested, because there's that spare DCC there. That's for John, if you're watching, John. Sorry, Mike. Get me blokes mixed up. John, your loco parts are here. Mike, DCC controller is here. I just got to clean up a bit more. I was going to have to make up a cable for it, but I found the missing cable, got bits and pieces. Anyway, right, now, back to Old saying in Aussie, like finding a hen's teeth or rocking horse shit. Very rare. Not April Fool's joke. This is a 6.3 millimetre socket. Now it's a 1/4 inch drive, so it's across 2 platforms. So we're using the 1/4 inch drive, 6.3 millimetres. Now most people will know that you've got about 6 mil sockets, 7 mil sockets. Every now and then you come across a half one, like a 4.5 or 5 mil. This is 6.3. Now, Repco tell me that this is the last one that was in the warehouse in our area. So if you want one, you may have to go to your local Repco store or try them off blind. You can get them via Amazon from Germany, because it's very much a European thing. 6.3 millimetre socket. Now you're going to go, that's crazy, Dave. That's crazy. Crazy man stuff. What do you want a 6.3 millimetre socket for? Well, I'm about to explain. Going to do this one-handed. Let me how to do this. Okay, look. This I've already undone the thing. Right. So all those people who use, like me, who may have a ratchet gun, socket ratchet, doesn't matter if it's battery powered like this one or air powered. I'm going to show you something that's really, really handy. So I've got a 3/8 to 1/4 inch drive adapter already on that, and I'm going to set my keeping shot hand. Okay. Right, so we're 6.3 mils going on. Excuse me. I should have stopped the camera and put it already on. Hang on, back in a sec. That 6.3, yeah, legit, it is 6.3 millimetres. Legit. No having a go. Why would you put a 6.3 millimetre socket on the end of your ratchet? Why would you do that? Especially one of these right angle ratchets. I'm going to show you. Impact drill. Hex impact drill. So it's for your hex drive. For any impact tools, this is what they call an impact drill bit. Look at this. Your ratchet gun is now... Oh, big chopper coming over. Your ratchet gun is now right angle drill. How Mickey Duck is that? I found that from a German fella. The 6.3 millimetre is quite common in German, so probably get them on Amazon. But if you see them round, how's that? How's that for something Mickey Duck? I think that's amazing. You may think I'm stupid, but a lot of people think I'm stupid. You won't be there. I think that's absolutely incredible that you can get this. And I was watching a DIY program, German fella, with the subtitles on, and he was drilling holes in bits and pieces. And I thought, how is he doing that? And then he sort of like explained how he'd set up his thing. And I thought, that's just, to me, yeah. Now, like I said, got that socket from Repco. If you want one, hunt around, they might have one. But what a handy thing to have in your toolkit. I just think that's Mickey Duck. Anywhere where you've got to drill a hole there, can't get your normal drill in, use your ratchet. Would very handy come out for if you've got to drill a bolt out. You know, often they're working on something, you've got to drill a bolt, got to drill a hole in a bolt to get it out. Hey, I can see uses for that. That's why I did it. Anyway, that's it for this week. Take care. Look after yourselves. I'm going to clear the deck of some of this stuff. I'm going to put some tunes on my screen and just relax and sharpen some saws and put them away and all that and have a play with the heater. But anyway, till we meet again next week when we have a new video. Catch you then. But don't forget, with all this stuff, like I say, get out in your shed and try something. Like you've seen where you're having a go at the dent pulling, having a go at bits and pieces. You don't know what you can do or what you can't do till you try. You really don't. So you've got to have a try. So don't forget, if you like this video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to my videos before, subscribe. If you've got any comments, any suggestions, or would like any more information about stuff that I've rabbited on about, give me a yell. Give me a yell. So, till we meet again, catch you later. I've been Dave in the Shed. You've been a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me.